Hello students. Now today we are going to discuss some more question from your miscellaneous exercise 6. Some of the question in last lectures we have discussed based on evaluation of maximum and minima and a different category. So today let's start with some more question with the same category. Here function is available with the trigonometrical combination along with your algebraic, and you have to find out interval for which your function is strictly increasing and strictly decreasing. So here method of finding will remain same. For strictly increasing and decreasing, first of all we will find it out first derivative, and on the basis of the first derivative you will find out the interval for which your function going to be strictly increasing or strictly decreasing. Here we are not talking about a maxima minima evaluation, so there is no need of evaluation of second derivative. So here is the question available to you. Your function is available with this combination in which numerator contain expression as a 4 sin x minus 2x minus x cos x whole by 2 plus cos x. So first of all we just try to understand what your function is and try to make some short form of the given question. So let's start with the given question form. Fx is available as 4 sin x minus 2x minus x cos of x upon 2 plus cos of x. Now here you can see in denominator the term is available as 2 plus cos x, and here in the second and third position if we take a minus x common, the same term you will generate. So it can be shorted for a further derivation. So it can be short up as taking minus x common in last two, this 2 plus cos x will left with you. Make them separate out. You can see these two terms are same, so it will go for cancellation. So you will left here with the 4 sin x upon 2 plus cos of x minus x. Means this function form is available for your first derivation. So now we will proceed about the first derivation of this form. So here it was fx. It can be also carried with the same. Now differentiate first derivation. Differentiate with respect to x. Here this form, if you look at numerator as well as denominator, both are containing terms of x. Means here f by g form you will implement for finding its derivation. It is being a single term, so as a single term it is to be treated out for a derivation purpose. So let's start with the derivation of given function. So f dash x, here you will have as f by g form. That means this is 2 plus cos of x whole square g square. Then keeping your gx as such, differentiation of 4 sin x. You know minus is compulsory over there. So further it will give you 4 sin x as a constant one. Now this is the differentiation of 2 plus cos of x, and derivation of x it will give you minus 1. So let's try to make them solve for further differentiation or further simplified form. So let's make it simplify here. This is 2 plus cos of x whole square. Write derivation everywhere. This is your 2 plus cos of x. Differentiation of 4 sin of x, that means 4 cos of x. Further, this minus 4 sin x you will keep as such. Differentiation of 2 plus cos x means for 2 it will be 0 and for cos x it will be minus sin x. So this minus sin x you will write, or direct also you can write as a plus, and this minus 1 you will keep at the last position. Now further make them combine for simplified form. Here you make them multiply, so this will give you 8 cos of x plus 4 cos square. This minus minus plus will generate 4 sin square, this minus 1 outside. Here 4 you can take common, so identity will produce, that is your basic identity you all are familiar about, 8 cos of x plus 4 cos square x plus sin square x minus 1 as a separate term. This will be replaced by 1, so this will give you 8 cos of x plus 4 upon 2 plus cos of x whole square minus 1. Still it is to be write with the combined form on taking LCM, 2 plus cos x whole square. So let's move towards the further solution. Now here we are going to take this 2 cos of x whole square is a LCM. So what will you have? 8 cos of x plus 4 minus 2 plus cos of x whole square. Now make it expand with the square power and try to combine some terms. This is 8 cos of x plus 4 minus, make it expand, so this is 4 plus middle term 2 into 2 4 cos of x, and the last term cos square x whole by 2 cos of x whole square. Now each term inside the bracket multiply with the negative sign, so this is to be write as such, no change at all. Minus 4 cos of x and minus cos square x. Now combine your like terms, so 8 cos of x minus 4 cos of x will give you 4 cos of x. These two cut, last term you write as such. So here also one more term you can take common in between, so cos x we can take common. So inside the bracket you will left with 4 minus cos x, this you keep as such with the square form. So this is the shortest form we have produced for your first derivation. Now we have to find it out the intervals for which it is being strictly increasing or strictly decreasing. For strictly increasing or decreasing, what the interval we have to find it out? We have to decide about the angle value regarding the x in such a way that for strictly increasing your first derivative turn to positive solution, and for decreasing it turn to negative solution. So for that we have to talk about. So one by one we discuss about each bracketed term and single term also for positive and negative solution. This is the main part of this question. Now here you see, first of all we decide about the sign of this one. Obviously it can be first 2 plus cos of x whole square. We know that range of this cos x is minus 1 to plus 1. So for least value and maximum value, normal it will turn to a positive solution, and even though being a square term it can't be a negative quantity, so it will always be a positive one. Next we think about this second bracketed term, that is 4 minus cos of x. We know that cos of x is lying in between plus 1 and minus 1. So for this range, this minus 1 if you are going to substitute it will turns to 5, and even plus 1 you are going to substitute it will turn to 3. So it will never give you 0 solution. Second thing, it will always give you positive solution. So overall we can say that this term is also a positive quantity. Now remaining is what? This third one only, on which the sign of your first derivative depends, positive or negative solution. We know the quadrant system in which cos is positive or cos is negative. So third term will decide about interval for which your given function is being increasing or decreasing. So first of all, we know this is our quadrant system. Now in this quadrant system, we know first of all we decide about the interval for which your function is being increasing, means it is positive. F dash x is positive for which values of x regarding your cos. So here you can say your cos is positive from 0 to pi by 2. Secondly, in second quadrant it is being negative. In third quadrant also it is being negative. Last quadrant means 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi. Again it is a positive quantity. So cos is positive in 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi. So these are the two different range we are having for which your function is strictly increasing. So let it define for first part for strictly increasing function. Interval, first of all 0 to pi by 2 union 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi. So under this range your function will consider as an increasing one. Secondly, for strictly decreasing function, intervals or interval. Now here we have to decide about the negative sign of the first derivation, means you can say from pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 your cos is negative. And if your cos is negative, these two terms are positive already, so the whole function will turn to a negative quantity. So for interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, it will turn to a negative quantity. So these are the two intervals for which your function will consider as a strictly increasing and strictly decreasing. So this way this type of questions are to be handled. This is also one of the important question from examination point of view. Now next we discuss about question number 8. And here what the questions we are going to discuss all are important one. In last exercise 6.5 and here also maximum questions are important one. Many times these questions are being asked in your board exam. Now the next is question number 8, in which what the availability of the information is find the maximum area of isosceles triangle inscribed in ellipse with its vertex at one end of measure axis. So what is the meaning of that? We are having an ellipse. Elliptical shape you all are clear about, and its basic property also last year we have discussed. This is the origin, this is the elliptical path. These are the endpoints regarding major and minor axis. We know its coordinate also A0 and 0, B. Now here inside the ellipse we have to form an isosceles triangle, and for which maximum area is to be evaluated. So here we are going to draw one isosceles triangle, and one vertex of this triangle should be a point on a major axis. This is the 1 point. So A, this we can take as a P, this we can take as a Q. Now coordinate of P and Q we can define here in terms of theta, that also we have discussed last year. So any point on this elliptical path, if you want to make it defined, it depends upon the position of the point on a system. So accordingly it will be defined. So here the coordinate of P you can write as A cos of theta and B sin of theta. Coordinate of Q, it is on the opposite side. It can be written as A cos of theta minus B sin of theta, that we have discussed last year. Now one point on the axis we can take it as M, and that can also be defined as, because here y-axis is 0, so A cos of theta and 0. So this is all about the information regarding the isosceles triangle with these 3 vertices and elliptical path. Now what we have to find it out? Area of the triangle with the maximum solution. So for that we have to work out. Before writing area of this isosceles triangle, we require 2 parameters, that is base length of the triangle and its respective height. So these 2 parameters here we are going to be defined. So let height of isosceles triangle, that is your P, Q and A. Height means what? AM. A means it is sum of 2 lengths from O to A and this O to M. So OA is available with A and this OM is available with A cos of theta. So here it will be A plus A cos of theta. From here A we take common, so this will be your A bracket 1 plus cos theta. Next to that we require base of a triangle. So here base of triangle PQA, that means your PQ length. If you find this PQ length, you will find it as a 2B sin of theta. On making them opposite sign, this will be cancelled. This will be opposite sign, will make them add. Now we will define here area of the isosceles triangle. So here area of the isosceles triangle, that is PQA, that will give you area. Suppose delta we write here, that is half its base. Base means what? PQ, and its height, that means AM. These 2 parameters already we have defined, so go for substitution there. So here area means delta you will have as a half PQ. PQ means what? 2B sin of theta, and AM what we have written? This form. So that also we will write as such A1 plus cos of theta. These 2 will cut. So finally this area you will have as a AB, which are a constant quantity, sin of theta 1 plus cos of theta. So this is a function we have defined in terms of theta for further evaluation of value of theta to evaluate maximum solution regarding its area. So first of all we define this derived function as a f theta, keeping AB as a constant quantity. Now first derivative, second derivative for checking of maxima and minimum evaluation. So here differentiate with respect to theta. So this is f dash theta, that is AB. Differentiation of sine, it will be cos theta, keeping this 1 plus cos theta as such. Then keeping this sine theta as such, differentiation of 1 plus cos will give you minus sine theta. Make them combined, cos theta multiplied to both cos square minus sine square theta. We know this formula is for cos of 2 theta. So make them replaced by the respective formula form. Now this is the first derivation what we are having. Now here first we find the value of theta, for which this first derivation or second derivation will give you negative quantity. So here also you can find out second derivative, or afterwards also we can find it out. So here you see, for maxima or minima, this is a process everywhere we have implemented. F dash theta turn is 0. So this will give you AB cos of theta plus cos of 2 theta is a 0. Now we have to work out for evaluation of theta. This is a non-zero quantity. So your cos of theta plus cos of 2 theta will turn to 0. This we will write in terms of cos because cos is only available to us. This will give you 2 cos square theta minus 1 as a 0. This is 2 cos square theta plus cos of theta minus 1. Its factorization is possible. Splitting of middle term. 2 and 1. 2 cos theta common. Cos theta plus 1 minus 1 common. Cos of theta plus 1. Here 2 brackets we have generated as a factor form. Now one by one make them 0. First of all, cos of theta plus 1 we are going to make it 0. So cos theta is minus 1. Theta here you will have as a pi. In real practice in any of the triangle, your angle can't be 180 degree. So this is not possible to adopt as an answer in our case. So this is not possible in real practice. So obviously we will move about the second one. 2 cos of theta minus 1 is a 0. So 2 cos of theta is a 1. Cos of theta will give you 1 by 2. Means theta will come out as 60 degree pi by 3. Now we will check out second derivative at this theta evaluated value, whether it will give you maxima or minima. So now again we move towards the derivation. Here first derivation we will have is, AB cos of theta plus cos of 2 theta. Now find out the second derivation, and only sign we have to check it out. At theta is equal to pi by 3. Now further differentiate. F double dash theta, that is AB. Cos theta differentiation means minus sin theta. Here this will give you minus sin of 2 theta into 2. Now you can see both the terms are giving you negative solution. So AB with negative solution, sin of theta plus 2 sin of 2 theta. If you will substitute the value of theta over here as pi by 3, both will give you your positive solution, means it will give you your negative solution finally. So go for substitution here. Sin of pi by 3 plus 2 into sin 2 pi by 3 minus AB sin pi by 3 plus 2, this you can express as pi minus pi by 3, means you are in the second quadrant, it will turn to a positive quantity. So minus AB sin pi by 3 plus 2 sin pi by 3. Finally it will be add minus AB 3 sin pi by 3. Substitute the value of sin pi by 3, that is under root 3 by 2. So this is minus AB into 3 under root 3 by 2. So here you can see At theta is equal to pi by 3, your solution is coming out with the negative solution. So at theta is equal to pi by 3, obviously the area will be evaluated as a maximum solution. So here it is confirmed that at theta is equal to pi by 3, your area of isosceles triangle is a maximum. Now that area also we have to evaluate. So area we have evaluated or written is AB sin theta 1 plus cos of theta. It is to be evaluated as theta evaluation at pi by 3. So go for substitution here. Sin pi by 3 under root 3 by 2. Cos pi by 3 means 1 by 2. Go for taking LCM, so this will give you 3 by 2. So finally, it will give you 3 under root 3 upon 4 AB. This is the area of an isosceles triangle inside a ellipse. So this way, this type of questions you can handle. And because of this two diagram we are going to discuss with the same question, this is also an important form. Now here I am giving you some hint regarding question number 10. So try to understand how it is to be handled and try to sort it out. Now in 10th question, first of all we think about the availability of the information. So that is, the sum of the perimeter of circle and square is constant k. So first we have to assume about the radius of a circle and side of a square. So let radius of circle is small r and side of a square is x. Now sum of the perimeter of the circle and square is constant. So here it will be perimeter of the circle, that means circumference of the circle, that is 2 pi r plus square of side of the square is x, so its perimeter is became 4x. That is available as a k. Now from here r we are going to separate out, that will be used further. So that will give you k minus 4x upon 2 pi, any of the parameter, even x also you can make it separate out. Now this will be used further for further solution. Now what is being asked? Prove that the sum of their area is least when the side of the square is double of radius of circle. So what is to be proved here? That x is equal to 2r. This is to be proved on basis of your minima area evaluation. So here first of all we write sum of the area, that means area of the circle, that means pi r square, plus area of the square is x square, and that is the function available to us, means the total area here you can say. Now r already we have written in terms of x, so go for substitution here. This will be the function available in form of x that can be proceed for evaluation of x in terms of constant value. So that will give you pi, r means k minus 4x upon 2 pi square plus x square. Now here you make it separate out as a So this form totally available in terms of x and constant quantity. So this you can proceed as a function of x for further derivation. Now what is your workout is, find out the first derivative. Your first step will be find f dash x. Second will be f dash x, put it 0 and find x in terms of k. Third step is second derivative you find out and check it out its sign. At x derived value. Now that value will be fixed to you. Now again we will move towards your first relation, and here from the value of x your k will be separate out. Substitute over here, so that will give you this required relation as x is equal to 2r. So this solution you try to find out. If any problem face, you can ask. Thank you.